I'm an information designer from Moscow, and as an information designer, I try to take data visualization seriously and spend a lot of time to find the best way to visualize the numbers accurately and in a way that best supports the story. However, sometimes I get wrong, and the more I learn, the more I analyze and compare my works, the more I see the common pitfalls that are actually quite easy to avoid. So today I'd love to talk about most common and probably most dangerous data visualization mistakes. So I grouped my errors, my mistakes, into two main categories: functional errors and communication errors. So functional errors are the worst because they represent information in a misleading way. They make impossible or very hard to get a fair insight. Communication errors, they are not that dangerous, but they are responsible for additional complications that may make visualization quite confusing or hard to understand. And as a result, it may take much more time for a viewer to get to the main point. So let's start from the functional errors. The most common that I usually see here and there is the omitting the baseline or truncating the scale. And I prepared the example. Look at this visualization about which telling us about sources of marine plastics. The point was to show the disparity between different sources of plastic in the ocean. And as the plastic pellets, the first chart exceeds the other sources so much that we cannot even see if there is something in some categories, I decided to truncate it, saving the absolute numbers on the y-axis. But at the first sight, but actually this chart is wrong. It destroys the real proportion between the bars and exaggerates the quantity of plastic produced by other sources. So it's much better, even if you don't like how your chart looks, you should try to represent the numbers accurately. Even there is something something you cannot see. Look at the right chart. So it looks like there is nothing in personal care products. Another mistake with functional mistake is manipulating data by cherry-picking scale. This is the visualization of temperature changes for a period for 14 years, and it proves that climate doesn't get any warmer. But if you zoom out and look at the whole picture, you'll see this is not true. Cherry-picking is often used in science denial or as an instrument in propaganda. Look at this visualization and you'll see that by deliberately cherry-picking appropriate time periods, like here from 1998 to 2012, an artificial pause can be created, even when there is an ongoing warming trend. So considering this mistake is very helpful for the critical evaluation of the represented information. So now let's go to communication errors. And the first one is confusing choice of color. So let's start from that. Icons, fonts, color scheme, they all carry connotations that affect their perception. And let's look at the visualization of regional parity prices across the United States. Range of green indicates the variance from the baseline, from the median across the US, and the darker green, the higher prices, the paler green, the lower prices. But for the most people, there is nothing good about high prices. And as the main point of the article was to show the cheaper places to live while working remotely, high prices is more like a warning sign. And as green is perceived as a color of tranquility, so this chart seems confusing because green usually perceived as a color of tranquility, health, or nature. So, but it's really hard to stay calm when prices go up. And I must say that in other cases, this color scheme could work, but probably not in this one. I tried to avoid cliche with red as a warning color and gave my preference to this color scheme. In my opinion, this color scheme looks fresh, but still communicate the same idea about warning, warning about the regions with the higher prices. And the next one is the last for today. Too many details or too many colors. This is my visualization that I made for one of the Makeover Monday challenges. And to be honest, I liked it. At first, I really liked it. I liked the variety of colors, how they are combined, and overall design. But now I see that there are too many details, too many colors that are quite distracting from the main point. So technically, this chart isn't wrong, but to me now it looks unfinished and it can be improved. It's good as an intermediate stage to see that the share of other products haven't changed that much over time, and so I can bring them together into a new category named other products and bring the viewer attention to the products with the greatest market share, more or less comparable to the cereals. And for today, that's it. This is just a tip of the iceberg. And as a rapidly developing field, data visualization leaves a lot of space for best practice to come. But I think this is a good start to avoid most dangerous mistakes, and probably most importantly, to see these mistakes in the others' work in develop your critical thinking and data literacy. And to train your critical evaluation skills, I would recommend you to check out this website, and you'll be surprised how many mistakes and confusing charts are made by large corporations. So the main point is that there is nothing wrong about mistakes, but as long as you learn from them. So I think that's it for today. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Anna. That was really, really nice talk, and very important as well for data visualization. I've got a question from myself, and also anybody feel free to ask questions and post them in the chat. Do you have any tips for us of becoming more critical for our own work?
I think that the most important thing is to consider the viewer who will watch, who will view your data visualization. And considering this, try to build your visualization. Try to tell some sort of story, and keep in mind what's your main point. Like I said before, that I had the visualization that I really liked it. I liked how colorful it was, but actually it looked, I understood that actually it was quite distracting from the main point. So there is some steps that you may consider, like you can consider design thinking. You can try to use design thinking to implement design thinking in your data visualization process. Like improve your work with every iteration. That's what would I recommend.
I have a question, Anna, for you, which is that I know it's a tiny talk, so you had to fit lots in, but if you had one more common mistake that people make that you couldn't fit in, what would it be?
I think maybe the most common mistake, especially for beginners, is that they tend to choose the wrong type of charts. So, but I cannot explain how to improve it, because I think that you can improve the skills only through the process, through the working, through the learning, and etc. So it comes with the experience. But I think this is the common mistakes, to see what chart you need to use, just looking at the numbers.
Yeah, no, it's a tough skill to gain, and there's lots of good resources and tips coming through in the chat as well, which I think are good. Good one that I just thought of there for the chart type. If people have seen the what's it called, the data, it's not data dictionary, it's the visual vocabulary. which is a brilliant one for helping to choose chart type. But yeah, I agree, the experience is essential.